Good morning, everyone. It's interesting. The more we rest as pure being, or abide as pure being, or know ourselves as pure being, the more fascinating it is. Not because there's anything happening or new, but because it's just endlessly fascinating somehow. Wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, and all of that is great. Everything of the world is perfectly great. But always at the root of all of that is me, myself, pure being. And that is endlessly fascinating. Even though that in and of itself is always the same. You may begin to notice that it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Maybe you're doing a task that you don't particularly like, I don't know, whatever that might be. Washing dishes or cleaning the kitchen or the bathroom or something. Or whatever else it might be for you. When you know yourself in that moment, when you're abiding as yourself, that's the main thing. And then in that way, it doesn't really matter what the body is doing. Just notice that yourself in the course of your day. Be more and more fascinated with yourself, with pure being. And then each thing within that, arising from that, is also perfectly good. But it's no longer so much of a preference or an aversion to the things that are happening. That has actually far-reaching implications. Things that we're averse to can seemingly take us away from the peace and contentment of our being. Well, a very gross and egregious example is politics. Politics is good because it's such a really gross level uh, intrusion into our peace. If we let it, of course, be. Of course, nothing is an intrusion unto our peace, other than what we accept. But that's a particularly interesting aversion to notice because it's so stark. But when we're really living freedom, when we're really knowing the contentment of our own being, when we're really knowing that our peace and happiness is not dependent on having our preferences met, or the world or our circumstances aligning with the way we want them to be. If in that moment of aversion, you can recognize that, in fact, that aversion doesn't really touch my being at all. Then that's a very powerful movement in consciousness to graciously tap you on the shoulder and say, "Turn around, beloved. I'm still here." Regardless of the aversion, dislike or distaste or anger or hatred or whatever it can be, even in the midst of that, I'm still here. So, yeah, being fascinated with pure being, who I am, my essential innate self, is endlessly interesting, actually. And no matter what the body is doing during the course of the day, any chores or tasks, or no matter what the mind is doing, having opinions and preferences, and likes and dislikes and aversions and all of that, I'm still here, endlessly fascinating, prior to all of that, regardless of all of that. It's good to be with you. I'll be back again tomorrow. Peace.